First up, in a region that loves its sports, the Massachusetts Senate race could be turning into one of those miracle on ice, David versus Goliath stories. A relatively unknown Republican could be a little more than 24 hours from staging one of the biggest political upsets ever. Chief political correspondent Carl Cameron reports on the day before an election that was never supposed to be close.
Greeting Boston Bruins hockey fans, Republican Scott Brown's on the brink of achieving the once unthinkable, winning the late Ted Kennedy's Senate seat for the GOP and eliminating the Democrats' 60-vote filibuster-proof Senate majority in Washington.
This race is about more than just the health care bill. It's really about the lack of civility in Washington, the fact that there's no conversation. A lot of the things are being done behind closed doors, and it's inappropriate. We can do better.
The latest polls show Brown, a state lawmaker, has come from behind and surged slightly ahead of State Attorney General Martha Coakley, who this morning campaigned at Boston's Martin Luther King Jr. Day breakfast.
I ask for your vote tomorrow on Tuesday the 19th. I would be honored to go to Washington and to work for you and with you.
Brown attended, but chose not to speak at the MLK breakfast and accused Coakley of desperation.
I certainly didn't realize that this was a rally for Martha, and I thought it was inappropriate that she started asking for people's votes when we're trying to remember Martin Luther King Jr.
How are you? Good to see you.
Coakley dismisses criticism from Democrats that she took the race for granted in this overwhelmingly Democratic state, ran an overly negative race, and let Brown come from behind in this shortened special election sprint.
People in Massachusetts know my record. They're going to vote tomorrow. I think we're going to have a victory.
How's it going, Boston? President Obama slammed Brown and the GOP campaigning for Coakley on Sunday. His appearance is now in an 11th-hour TV ad for her.
Every vote matters. Every voice matters. We need you on Tuesday.
But White House aides admit worrying she may still lose. Critics say her gaffes show she's out of touch, not least of which was dissing former Red Sox and World Series hero Curt Schilling in a pretty extreme way in the capital of Red Sox Nation.
The fact that she called me a Yankee fan probably bothers me more than anything, but she clearly doesn't have a line into, it doesn't feel like she has a line into the people of the state.
President Obama was here just yesterday, and yet White House aides have signaled some pessimism about your chances to win. And this morning, Curt Schilling said you were out of touch. What do you say about this on the eve of the election?
I think that voters will decide. I'm not concerned about what Curt Schilling says. I'm concerned
about the White House?
The White House is supporting us. I think the president knows that I'm going to win tomorrow.
But Democrats are so worried about the possibility of a Brown victory that they're trying to figure out how best to protect the president's health care agenda in the Senate. Historically, it's worth noting that when Ted Kennedy won this seat 47 years ago, he was seated in the U.S. Senate the very next day. And moving it to more contemporary times, Nikki Tsongas, a congressman, was elected 2 years ago to the House, and she was seated in 2 days. Democrats would like to make sure that even if Brown's elected, he's not seated before health care is passed by them, and they can't do so if he's in the Senate and voting against it, Brett.
Carl Cameron live in Massachusetts. A busy 24 hours ahead. Carl, thanks.